Yeah, I heard you for half a second there.
Yes, and then probably me just swearing at the computer a lot as I tempted to restart it again. But excellent. Right, are you up for a chat about all things Avatar?
I most definitely am.
Right, okay. We've now got Avatar on the line, talking about, I guess, about the upcoming European tour you've got coming. Well, I say upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
A week ago, I'd never heard of Omega variant of COVID. Now I hear about it a lot. Presumably, are you slightly worried now by the daily changing picture of what goes on in the world? But yes, you should be over here in January. Hopefully, presumably that is still the plan, is it not?
Yes, that is. Yeah. We are presuming that we're going until we are not, and I don't know. I got a good feeling about this one. What can I say? What you gonna do at this point? It's yeah. How much do we want to talk COVID? Yeah, there's been a plague in the world for a while. We were able to go to the United States this fall, and somehow at this stage, I truly believe we will make it to the UK and the rest of Europe as scheduled. I have no authority on it. I'm ready. I've done my push-ups and my workouts and my warm-ups. So I'm ready. The band is ready. As far as we are concerned, we are going.
And so the American tour, that was your first outing since lockdown, was it? I mean, how did that go then? How was that for you guys over there?
It was great. It was many things. A lot of it was like every other tour in a good way. Of course, there were a lot of things that we didn't do that we usually would have done. A lot of friends that we just, would text with during the shows. Hey, thanks for putting me on the list. I'll see you next time, I guess, that we didn't see face to face. Before COVID, like before this whole thing happened, I had kind of made myself a promise that I'm going to make an effort and make a point out of being more of a tourist wherever we go. Meaning there's always something to see in any small town, even if it's just the world's biggest ball of yarn. I'm going to make sure that I go and see that ball of yarn then or whatever. And I, of course, obviously didn't do that. So those things were different. People looked different because they wore masks a lot of the time. But all in all, it was like good old times, I guess. The first show, like the first 30 seconds that I stood on stage again, I really choked up. Luckily, I don't sing for the first minute or so. And then there was no time to feel like that anymore, because then it was about doing the first show in 18 months or whatever it might have been. Excuse me. So it was, to the extent where I could allow myself to be overwhelmed emotionally. We were, but then it was back to business, which was great, I guess, And then I got COVID and we missed the last 6 shows.
And what was the response then to, what was the audience? I mean, because presumably as keen as you are to get out on stage, audience are as keen to see you and get back into watching live music.
Yeah, exactly. It was obviously special to anyone who were there. Unfortunately, which I understand and respect, because also the US is interesting. Well, it's like touring the EU rather than touring just the UK or just Sweden, just Germany. Different rules, different places. Some states we couldn't even get near to playing because they would do things so differently from what we were okay with doing. But even within the frame, this is exhausting to think about. But even within the framework of what we were willing and able to do, or what chances we were willing to take, it still differed a lot from state to state, But in the places where there was a clear vaccine mandate, for instance, that is where we had the best shows. People were breathing freely, literally, during the show. So it was a different vibe in the room. And you could tell that, that people let loose a bit more in those kind of places. So, but yeah, no, it was I think we all treasured it for what it was. And it was, I think we and our fellow Swedes in Sabaton was probably the first Europeans to have made it over post COVID, or it's not over obviously, but post the beginning of COVID.
And how you said you ended up with COVID towards the end and had to cancel. Are you fully recovered now from all that? Did it hit you bad?
I'm vaccinated, and that helps. Obviously, it was even on the level where, like, oh, my back hurts. Well, it's the end of the tour. It's been a long run. I'm tall. It's the bunk bed, or whatever. You make up these stories. Like, it wasn't immediately evident what was going on. But it's like, but I'm feeling kind of weird though, because also I had Justin. We had had the normal common cold running around on the bus as it does every tour, and at some point throughout the run it hits everyone, and we were all kind of coming out of that finally, and in between, and suddenly like my back, I'm tired after show, what is this, I should probably test myself. Oh, it's okay, it's positive. Because it was not any worse than a mid-level, medium flu, but different. Obviously, it just I don't know how I would describe it other than that, but the aching felt a bit different than what other things I experienced. But vaccinated, and that's good health otherwise, and stuff. So the hard part was the isolation was the tough part, canceling and coming to terms with, feeling dirty, I guess, in terms to like everybody get away from me. You feel it's weird.
Yeah, I think I also ended up succumbing to COVID and lost my sense of smell and taste. Now that was really weird.
Oh, really?
Mostly
for a long time.
Probably 2 or 3 weeks, I think, and you'd find me sniffing bottles of acetone or white spirit or anything that I could find before realizing this is why you've got a sense of smell, to stop you doing stupid things like that. But it was just like I should be able to smell something, but I couldn't, and it was really odd. But like you say, you tend to think that now you've had it.
It must be so weird.
It was, but like I say, I think once you find, I think now that we've all had it, I think we've all got to get it at some stage, and then hopefully we build up some more immunity to go with the vaccines and keep on getting out there. So anyway, that's enough negativity around COVID. Let's talk about
why not?
Let's talk about so Going Hunting is a track. Now you've released a couple of new tracks that aren't on the last album. Will these ever appear on an album, or are these sort of in between?
I guess we view them more as Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane, that they are their own entities, because they are not leftovers is the wrong word, outliers is the right word, from prior writing session, where it's like, this is great, this is really great, in the whole, whatever we're trying to go for, whatever we are trying to do with Hunter Gatherer, it's not this, but this great thing doesn't fit. It's like, I don't know, a beautiful brown shoes, but you're wearing a black suit or something. And now we put out our beautiful brown shoes that we had. I guess that's the best way to describe it, and I think also, I don't know, I get reminded over and over again, and now once again, because I only watched the first episode, but the whole Beatles Get Back thing just reminds me of the different formats of releasing music we've been into and out of. And as metalheads, we love the album format, don't we? And for good reason. A great album is the best. The best 40 to 35 to 47 minutes. I don't like them to be too long, with few exceptions. That format of telling a story in heavy music, or just putting songs together, is perfect. But it wasn't always like that. And I don't know, the streaming culture reminds me of the 50s in a way. Elvis puts out a new song, the Shadows put out a new song. Which is the best? The Shadows album? I don't know. and I listen to Shadows, but I listen to songs, Apache and stuff, and uh, and it's similar now, I guess. And I like doing that. I like doing, here's a song and make that a big deal while we are working on the next album. But it's an underrated format in heavy music,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I think sort of I know what you mean in that I like to get for radio purposes. I like to get singles and they're very easy to download and I can listen to them and I can play them. But when it comes to an album, I mean, and I've got one of your previous albums that came with a complete booklet and artwork in it, and that's one of the things that my daughter, who's 14, for example, will pour through a CD and look at the lyrics and see who wrote this and what guest artists you got on that. And when you get sent, would you like to download these 14 tracks? It was like, no, not really, because I want something physical and I want something visual to look at. And yeah, I lament the fact that is there a physical version of these? And a lot of times the answer is no, not anymore. And which is a real shame. But horses for courses, I suppose. You know, when you want to release something that, like you say, doesn't fit onto an album, or something that is promoting a tour or fits in between, then a single. That works. So you say so for example, Going Hunting is the track that's out there, and it's a lovely pair of brown shoes, as you say. Does that mean there's a brown suit that goes with it coming in 6 months' time?
No, now we are working on, I guess, I don't know, pink green striped suit that has nothing to do with either the black suit we just put out or the brown shoes that came in between. It's on to the next thing, really. Which is supposed, like what we are doing now really is we are writing an album, but it's in terms of putting together a lot of songs we feel really good about and having maybe some kind of general idea philosophically, you know, if feel wise what it's meant to be. It's coming together. We're trying to put a, you know, trying to, when we, I know we're having these, you know, when you have the conversations of what you're trying to do, you can have a conversation in actual music, that you hear something and you say yes or no, and you know, and people feel it and it kind of makes sense. And in between, you try to find the words for what it is that you're doing in speaking. And you know, this song needs to be more laser. Okay, what the hell is that? I don't know. I said it, I meant it. In hindsight, I don't know what that means. But we are in a good place, all things considered.
So are you actively writing at the moment then?
Yeah. I am actually, this where I'm sitting now is a rehearsal room so I live in Finland since 7 years now, but the rest of the guys are in Sweden. So I am sharing this rehearsal room with some friends here. So I have a place to scream that isn't my apartment. And yeah, I'm here this is a writing day. So
okay.
So I'm doing a lot of these, and you know, we are communicating over Zoom to the best of our ability, you know, regular meetings and over.
So how much of a change is the new material from what we heard on the last album?
Well, it's hard to say for me. Like it's hard for any band, I think, to escape yourself. You know, like I go to examples of Queen and the Beatles went through a lot of changes, but ended up always sounding very much like Queen or the Beatles. And I think that's true for a lot of bands. Let's take another DAD, maybe, for example, Devin Townsend. All these people who have done a lot of different stuff, but they end up being just the same guys. If you're the same people, you can't escape your own DNA. That being said, I'm thinking musically, not lyrically, but musically, for instance, in the term way more, you know, 4-letter word starts with F in just the vibe, the activity, in just terms of what a rhythm section is doing. I think part of me wants this album to rock more than we're doing, and it definitely does the songs, without sacrificing any of the darkness or the dirt, but just I don't know, like this has always been our philosophy, but I guess, but now it's more outspoken, you know, like if you do music with drums, it's dance music. And then you can call what, you know, mosh pit is also dancing, and headbang is also dancing, you know, like it's movement to music. It has that function, you know, and that seems to be ultimately the prime function. You're not supposed to, there's music made that you sit down, you dress up nice and make sure to smell nice, and you sit and watch a symphony being performed to you, and you know, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of times when you treat any kind of what's called you know, anything that's been branching out of rock music as music you're supposed to not move while watching, and you know, then you missed something along the way, you know. And that being said, there are a couple of prog stuff that I do like, but it's weird when you think about it. I feel like Motorhead is still closer to the truth of what this is, whatever we are trying to do in its purest form, whatever that is. You know, you want to shake some body parts to it. And then that metal isn't any different than fucking dancehall reggaeton in that sense. Just a different set of movements, a different, you know, resonates with a different kind of people, and you know, fulfills the need of a, I don't know, a different kind of deranged being, you know, fulfill our needs. But it's dance music. Even when it's not dance, it's still dance, and that part has become, as of lately, very important to us to try to figure out what that means in the context of doing something metal. And you know, we always had this rock and roll side to it, you know, Let It Burn, or and that's the only song we ever did, apparently, when I tried to think of more songs. But you know, but you know, there's that side to what we have done always. And I know I'm digging through that layer of dirt right now, for what it's worth. And so it's supposed to be different. I think where it will have similarities to Hunter Gatherer, as opposed to what happened just before it, I guess, is that Avatar Country feels like, at this time, as far as I'm interested in taking the whimsicalness, the silliness, the fun, the fun and games. Okay. And damn proud over that we did it like that. Still gladly perform all that live and everything. But I feel we did a very, very good job, in the sense of, okay, I don't feel we need to figure that out anymore, you know. So now it's all the things that we didn't allow ourselves to do for a few years, is where it's at right now. So that level of, I guess, seriousness, you know, less poop jokes. I guess it's less spoken word parts about the king of Avatar Country's constipation, you know.
And so what are your timescales now then? Because I mean, I guess we're in December now, or very nearly in December now, and tour starts in January to March. Does that mean a new album from the band's latter part of next year?
Well, that's an ambition that is nice, noble to have. Something like that, I guess. It's I borrowed a term from the video game world, which is a bad place to take it from, because how people work there to finish the product is awful. But at some point, one of the bigger companies had, you know, the saying, "It's done when it's done." No, and you know, and others, you know, no one waits for an okay album.
Yeah.
But when greatness comes out, it was worth the waiting. So whatever that may mean, yeah, no, it would be smart, and it would help management and ourselves as our, you know, as business people, that side of us, we would sleep better if the album was finished in the spring and came out in the fall.
Okay.
So, but you know, but that's only true if it's good. if it's not good, then we can wait 5 years and it's better, you know.
Yeah. And
Um,
like we were saying at the beginning, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in the world, let alone today. But it's good to have a plan. What can we
yeah.
expect when we see you back over here in January? Because one of the appeals to me of an Avatar show is a show. You know, visually, it's always very spectacular. And what will you be bringing with you when you're over here in January?
We again, like I think it's true for any artist, I guess, that there's a level of whatever you do currently is kind of reaction to what's going on just before. And this, we will bring a show that is very spectacular, as was Avatar Country, but the Avatar Country production was in a way pornographic, in the sense that we had stairs and elevators and a big thing. So it was very everything in your face, like leave little to the imagination. And now we brought inspiration more from theater in a way, a more suggestive approach. And if Avatar Country was pornography, then what's going on now is more eroticism, meaning that it builds over time. It demands participation, and the audience, you know, work alongside with us to build atmosphere. And it's more about atmosphere, I guess, you know. And it's a show that builds and builds and builds and builds, you know. So that also a common thing for a metal show. Iron Maiden, Aces High, boom, bang, bang, jump, go, pop, poof, fast on, go, you know. And which is always the right thing to do. It's always great for metal to do like that. And therefore an interesting challenge to see, can we approach this? Can we do heavy metal with a bit of an approach borrowed from some Icelandic hipsters, you know, where you start small and then go bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's interesting in the world of heavy metal, where everything is meant to feel big, is that all things considered, because of the songs, because of what we do, because of who we are, what we dress, it feels pretty damn big already in the beginning. But more based on, instead of stairs and stuff, it's big because we're there in your face. And then the show builds over time with, you know, you flick another switch on and another set of lights comes on and things keep happening. So it keeps growing. So each moment in the show, when it comes, is pretty much the biggest moment of that show. But it's also built in a way, the stage and everything, where to me, it feels like it has a much stronger human factor, where just, again, slightly less stuff on stage means you can move more freely. There's more interaction between us, and you could reach the audience more organically, you know. So it's more, again, more erotic and less pornographic, and which I think is you know, a healthy approach to any kind of intimacy, including musical intimacy with a live crowd, you know. So we will all tickle each other's taints profusely.
I like the way you I like the analogies you drew there. Very good. Excellent stuff. Well, thank you ever so much for chatting with us today. I look forward to seeing you in January, and hopefully we will see you in January. So are you getting a chance to do like press on tour or meet and greets, or is that when you did America, is that's all seriously curtailed, is it?
Yeah, no, we didn't do any of that. No press, no meet and greets. Again, like I mentioned before, like not even seeing old friends.
Yeah.
Keeping it very strict. And despite all that, I still got sick.
Yes.
And we were being good boys. And we even had to deal with some people who were touring with us were not welcome to keep touring with us, in part due to not being as good boys and girls as they should have been. According to us. And still I got sick. You know, there's no guarantees. There's no guaranteed way of avoiding this. And I was okay. I was never worried for my own health, but it kills the tour, you know. So we try to do what we can because, you know, it's to go on tour and then cancel it is more expensive for a band, and we are not Rolling Stones. it's costs way more and become more problematic when it's time to pay the bills at home than to not go on tour at all. So we have to take that part very seriously.
Yes, because I suppose you are a lot less of a risk to me, but the 30 people you meet and do press and meet and greets with on one night times by the 40 shows you're doing means presumably, the chances
exactly.
of you getting something is pretty high, isn't it? But well, okay,
exactly. And we used to happily, bump into people by the bus, also fans and stuff, just to say hi and chit chat before a bus call and stuff. We can't even do that anymore because, of course, if I meet one individual in a day, I can probably presume that person is not sick. But you multiply that by 10, maybe for one evening, kind of low, and then you multiply for each show, so suddenly it's hundreds.
Yeah.
And you roll the dice every time.
Yeah.
So it is what it is for now.
Yeah. Okay, well, super. So, well, hopefully, we will get to see you back over here soon. I shall have to wave from a distance, but thank you very much for doing this, and I hope to catch you soon. Brilliant. Thank you very much, sir. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.